We have fused like Bird and Ring. I mean, when we talk about Bird, we gotta bring it up all over again. I know it's a national holiday out here for the Overwatch League official podcast. What's good, guys? Vicky Kitty here with my lovely partner, Necro. We're gonna be taking you guys through the last series of the day. That's gonna be the Boston Uprising versus WISP.
Listen, I love all the names that are being thrown out for the two of us. None of them can be worse than me and Trid getting called naked when that ended up happening in Contenders. So, like, listen, I will take absolutely anything at this point. But, Vicky, what a treat to be back here with you for the Overwatch League Pro-Am, where we get a chance to see two more teams go head-to-head today. And I'm really pumped about this one because we just saw such an impressive performance coming out there from the Boston Uprising. And for WISP yesterday, their match versus the Gladiators was surprisingly close.
Yeah, close rounds, yeah, although the Glads did take it 2-0, they were still close, and we talked about WISP, and we highlight them because it's a team, obviously, that we don't get to see very often unless you're tuning into Contenders frequently out here. Jkaru has been a main tank that they just recently picked up for this Pro-Am, and I like this change up here because we've seen Jkaru so much back in our days of casting Contenders, Necra, and against a team like the Boston Uprising, after what they just looked right now, unlucky. This is a very scary team. I was tweeting about it earlier. We heard about it from Leg Day and Lemon. This is basically an all-star lineup Owl team, and they are not playing around. I love to see Birdring right back at his finest peak form. It looks like this man definitely did not take a break. I don't know if he's saying that just for everyone to be like, oh yeah, you know, we'll give you some room, but he is out here, and I know Danny wants to interview him again for dinner later today, so
let's go triple crown. Do the triple crown there with Birdring. Add another one to the gauntlet here because WISP, I mean, they did put on a great performance, but I am with the desk here that Boston Uprising should be able to take this match. So let's see if WISP has any surprises in store for us. As we head out of the gates here, Vicky, we are seeing Winston compositions go head-to-head. It's going to be a mirror match on both sides, but look at the ante to kick things off there, coming in from Twilight.
Already really nice here. Look at the way that Legiagon's taking position off to the side, too. Could also just disengage quickly if they want to re-engage onto the point. Match that with Smurf. Like this slow, methodical approach right here. WISP taking the longer route to try to take the back end of the point. Here comes the engagement right now. Yeah, you can see right there, too, with Jkaru just trying to jump in. A very similar look to what we saw from WISP when they were kind of trying to contest the Glads yesterday. That's their win condition. It's actually trying to get that nano boost onto Jkaru. A nice ante coming in from Twilight. This backline, like we highlighted earlier before, is beautiful. Enables Birdring, gets him right into position, and they've already lost Jkaru. Now Legiagon just trying to retaliate. Nice stall real quick after getting hit with an ante. Tries to boop him off real quick right there, too, and they do manage to get the point first. See you later, Rocket.
Yeah, Rocket's just going to go ahead and get a quick reset there. Otherwise, you run the risk of donating over even more ultimate charge there to the Boston Uprising. And Whisper in for a little bit of a hard time, I would say, as they come back in to try to recontest this point. Boston Uprising already have that Deadeye ready to go there from Birdring, and you also have a Pulse Bomb there that Decay is definitely looking at to try to land onto a Peak or Chopper.
And there's that nano boost too, but Smurf can't live through it all. Birdring clearing some extra space over to the side. Meanwhile, Decay on the other side, getting that pulse bomb stick onto Chopper. Nice trade real quick with Chopper going down. The sound barrier from Grapes to keep Wisp alive to contest in that choke point. It's the Rocket versus Decay match, though, that I was expecting to see going into this matchup. We saw it earlier with Kevster, and we get to see it from Rocket. We talked about him earlier. Taking a little quick nap is Smurf. He managed to get out of there just in time, but the same cannot be said about Birdring. Smurf with that reset on the Primal. Lige does have that sound barrier here, too. We see some traits, but the Uprising have the numbers in their favor. We almost saw the flip, but Wisp were forced to reset after losing too many bodies.
Yeah, there was still a lot of great ultimate conversion there from Wisp. You have the sound barrier that was able to keep Wisp alive through that engagement, and it also enabled Rocket to be able to get a great pulse bomb stick there onto Birdring. There are not too many players, Vicky, that I think can say that they've been able to accomplish that. But now Boston Uprising are entering into that final fight territory, and Twilight's already gotten a big pick there onto Rocket.
Oh, Twilight. He's been doing really well getting these antes here, too. I mean, talk about the antes. He got one on Grapes, a follow-up coming in from Decay. The lead from Smurf to finish off what's left of Wisp as Jkaru is forced to pop the Primal to disengage. So much also wasted right there, too. Meanwhile, Uprising, they still got Decay's Pulse Bomb. They got the sound barrier. Not one flip yet coming in from Wisp as the desperate leap in from Jkaru to stall.
looks like there's going to be a little bit of the fight happening over on the spawn side, but that does allow some room there for WISP to get the flip. Boston Uprising are still up, though. There's the sound barrier.
There goes the sound barrier. The pulse is right there. Decay doesn't even need to burn it. He's already melting down everybody else with Smurf. He puts it down. Rocket, yeah, gets one pick, but the Uprising are cleaning up shop of what's left from WISP. Yeah, they got the flip on the point, but it's just delaying the inevitable here. You can see the diff right now between Decay and Rocky. It's actually insane. Overtime ticking away and nobody in sight to touch.
Yeah, that was a little bit of a rough round there from WISP, but they still put up a heck of a fight. Being able to get that flip as well did give them some time to be able to try to work back up to some of those more critical ultimates, but Boston Uprising just kind of putting on a clinic there of how they're able to rotate through the ultimates that they have, and they're charging them up very, very quickly. So first round going to go over here to the Boston Uprising, but there is still a second round to go. Twilight, though, I can only imagine this is like one of the snipes. Yeah, right there onto Rocket. I was like, how did Twilight hit that?
Those antis were crazy. We talked about it before, too. He got the snipe real quick and then got that huge anti from across the field. Now we go on to round number 2. Gonna teleport real quick to get to that middle point as quickly as possible, but Uprising looking so good. Even after their last game, they are warmed up, they're ready to go. Although I say that and Twilight gets immediately taken down by Chopper. Fighting out inside of this close quarter room on the other side does not do the Uprising justice, and WISP can take a little bit of a breather here while Lee Gon tries to go for a reset.
Yeah, I mean, this was such a smart target focus there coming in from WISP. Everybody started to dive onto Twilight in the back line, just recognizing how much Twilight's Ana has really been able to help keep the Boston Uprising up and also enable their engagements. But a big anti now. Poor Jikaru is not going to be able to get away from that one.
Lee Gon can't get away from Rocket either. Going for those trades, but Twilight's still up and alive to keep the rest of the Uprising alive. They're going to take the back end while Smurf disrupts the piece in the front lines. Chopper with this off angle here while Graves gets taken out by Bergring. See the contention coming in, but I like the positioning that we specifically had from Chopper and Twilight. Bergring managed to nail him with the magnetic nade, and Rocket is antied. He gets away in time before Decay cuts him off on the other side. Uprisings flip up this point, and WISP do go in for a good disengage here, but they will be able to come back with the nano boost.
Yeah, they get the nano boost online, and they also have the pulse bomb up and ready to go. So I feel like that's a great way that WISP, as long as they don't take too long here to allow for Boston Uprising to get ultimates of their own online, then maybe they can take advantage of that. But Twilight's going to use the nano first.
I think with these antis have been definitely on point for this second round. He gets immediately focused down by Smurf. He did put down that nano, and Smurf now clears the space with the frail and the fact that he's on this primo. He's going to be able to jump right back on top of the bridge, and the deed is done. More time wasted away from WISP after Uprising were able to flip that point.
Yeah, they didn't need much to be able to get the job done either. It was just the nano and the primal, and now they still have the pulse bomb and the Deadeye to be able to cycle through. And the Deadeye is so good at being able to create space. So as soon as WISP are able to move in, you're going to see Birdring try to get into a position to just stave everybody off. Well, unless Jikaru has something to say about that one, I guess.
Especially on the bridge right there, too. Here comes a sound barrier to keep Uprising in this fight to start the engagement right now. They try to nail down a peak, but the sound barrier from Graves ends up helping them out, but not before Jikaru goes down first. The pulse bomb stick onto Chopper. Look at Decay playing passively around the barrier, though. I love his positioning. Rocket now gets the pulse bomb stick. Bergering goes down. Rocket going crazy on the back line from WISP onto Uprising here, and this is looking great here for WISP.
It's looking so good for WISP right now. I mean, they are able to get the point flip. Also, the Wrecking Ball choice might be exactly what they need. Something a little bit more wonky, maybe a little bit more outside of the box, and it makes it a little bit faster for Jikaru to be able to get these rotations in versus having to rely on the cooldowns that Winston has to offer. So, you're going to see Jikaru go ahead and get set up there as he just goes bowling through the entire team.
Oh, no strike, and the sink, and the sleep on top of that. Goodbye, Bird Ring. So long, but Lijiang Gon answered right back. They were so fixated on Bird Ring that look where Lijiang Gon was sharking from on the other side of that bridge. Huge trade going in favor for the Uprising.
Yeah, wait, what? Vicky, I feel like every focus was onto Bird Ring there, and then Lijiang Gon out of nowhere gets the double boop of his life. So Boston Uprising, they're able to take back control of this point now, and Twilight's gonna go ahead and use the nano. Smurf can't get back up.
Way.
What?
Oh, but that was still a huge anti. Jakaro also went to sleep. Twilight having a ball game right here while Smurf is absent. Now we see the face-off between Decay and Rocket. Rocket's incredibly low. He can't get away. Bird Ring follows up with that too. Uprising with control over this point. Wisp is going to have to get Jakaro to desperately touch.
Yeah, Jakaro is going to have to be able to make a move in, but he's already so low there. Chopper is able to get the nano boost, but is that going to be able to convert over to anything? Oh my gosh.
Somebody needs to stop Lijiang Gon. Chopper comes in, finding two right here, which is huge, but Smurf has a prime. He's gonna go for the reset. Pulse bomb coming in, special delivery. Chopper gets sent to the other side. Doesn't get sent all the way down to the desk, but he manages to survive. And the sound barrier from Lijiang Gon keeps the rest of Uprising alive in this fight. So does Grapes to match that. They're looking up and alive and healthy. The save can't be set for Decay. 85% with this clip from Wisp.
Yo, look at that too. Jakaro has the minefield ready to go as well, so you can just lay that down as soon as Boston Uprising tried to make their way back onto this point. Smurf with a quick pick over to the Doomfist just to be able to get back to point a little bit faster, but Jakaro is getting ready to let those mines loose.
Sets the overtime as Decay here. He's got the pulse bomb ready. Twilight on the Kiri. Time ticking away here with a minefield going down from Jakaro. It's going to be huge in clearing the space. Decay just waiting for an opportunity to continuously harass his backline. Nice Suzu here too. Chopper being able to find Smurf is going to be big. How's Bird Ring and Decay going to use his pulse bomb and his Deadeye? It's going to be incredibly important here. Still harassing the backline while Chopper goes unchecked. He finds Bird Ring. Decay goes down, and Wisp successfully get this point right back in his favor and get the second round.
That was so back and forth between both of these teams, but ultimately came down to that Wrecking Ball pick. As soon as Jakaro came out of the gates with that one, I felt like Wisp woke up and had a completely different game, Vicky.
Definitely agree there, and the fact that he had mines for that final fight was also incredibly important because it denied the space that Decay needed to not only try to continuously press forward on that point, but he also had to take different angles to harass the backline. Here's Chopper with the quick 2K onto Bird Ring and Twilight. Looking heads real quick here too. Wisp. This is the Rocket Chopper DPS duo that we highlighted yesterday, Necra. That is so good. They work really well together and they have that synergy, and it was displayed at the very end of that fight.
Yeah, and I think that Chopper's really woken up as a player to be able to play this Cassidy. I feel like this is something where he can really shine, and so to be able to see that nano boost help get that 2K,
oh, wow.
I think that was really impressive. But I think all the players of Wisp right now are stuck between a Mei wall and a hard place.
Yeah, that immortality field from Twilight was really big too for that first engagement, for that first fight. Now the point going in favor for Uprising, but it's fine. Wisp, they were able to make that comeback in that last round. Gets blocked off by the Mei wall, which is going to be incredibly detrimental in this matchup here, especially trying to get through that choke point. Nice anti from Apkeek here too, but Jakaro goes down first, and Smurf is taking a quick nap, but I like Bird Ring holding these different angles.
Yeah, Bird Ring is basically just locking down both points of entry right now that Wisp can go through. It's either going to be that main checkpoint there, or if you see him kind of look off to the right, then you can see him try to get some taps in there as well. But a little bit of a disengage here coming through from the Boston Uprising. Too many members of Wisp were able to make it through that main checkpoint, so you kind of just have to give it up a little bit to be able to make sure you can contest the actual point.
And the nano boost coming in onto Jakaro. We've seen this done before, and this is how they start their engagements. Finding Bird Ring is going to be big here, and Twilight after he used the amp right there too. Big window going down, and I like how they were able to disengage, get out of that line of sight while Jakaro was still pressing onto those back lines. Finding another pick now into Decay here. Uprising are probably going to have to reset, and they will, as Wisp is going to be able to flip this point.
Yeah, the composition that Boston Uprising are running there with the Mei and the Ramatra, when you know that you have that shield available, it's really great to be able to cycle through the shield as well as the Mei wall in order to help block off or isolate one of the members on the opposing team. So WISP, you know, they were able to make it through that highly defensive composition there from Boston, but Boston are coming back with a ton of ultimates. That's 4 in the bank right now, Vicky.
And they have the sound barrier. If Grape stays alive, he could get one up for this fight. Here comes the Deadeye as Birdring finds Jkaru. Huge here. Nice immortality field, helps reset Smurf, but he doesn't get out of the line of sight of Chopper's Deadeye. He goes down without being able to use the Annihilation. Here comes that sound barrier. Lijiang managed to pull it off. The ante, though, is huge from Abkeek, and Grapes matches that sound barrier too, but currently, Wisps are fighting these trades. Uprising have the number advantage, but with Jkaru still alive and having the Primal, Uprising want to get this reset.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Jkaru was able to get so much mileage out of those Tesla cannons from the Winston, and being able to also just flatten a couple members out of the Boston Uprising doesn't necessarily hurt to be able to pick up the rest of those squishies. Decay is actually going to be making a bit of an adjustment here. Going to swap off of the Mei onto the Tracer, so we're going to see more similar compositions coming through here as the Boston Uprising come back.
See the Nana boost up to Jkaru. He's got the Primal ready to go in for another reset, so need be. He gets stuck, though, right here. The Annihilation comes in from Smurf, but he gets immediately shut down by Abkeek. He's been on point, not only with these antis, but these sleeps onto Smurf have been huge. Another anti now into Decay, but Uprising were able to flip the point there, which is big, because you already see Wisp at 78%. They get the trade. Lijiang going down, so does Jkaru. We'll have Jkaru for this fight. Birdring, too, gets pinged, and Twilight trying to take a different off angle. He already used up that Ant Matrix, but he was in a nice position where he wasn't going to get dove on after getting hit with an anti. Smurf was a difference maker here, with Jkaru not being able to make his way back. He does flip over to the Ryan.
Yeah, I mean, the Reinhardt's going to be really nice here to be able to help hold up that shield for all of this incoming damage coming through from both Twilight and Birdring. But that also means that the shield is going to dissipate super quickly, and Birdring's just going to go ahead and weave in a Deadeye.
And with Smurf being in that Nemesis form, punching right through, Jkaru had to back away, and he was in that line of sight of Birdring, who just finished the job. 98%, nobody in sight from Wisp, other than Grapes, who tried to push it into overtime, successfully does so, while Jkaru rolls right in with that quick swap from the ball that we saw in the last round.
Yeah, the Wrecking Ball is going to be able to retouch for the overtime, but it looks like it might still be disaster here for Wisp, but especially once the sound barrier gets put down.
Lijiang is zooming. It says, forget about whatever you saw earlier. There was no Ajax. I'm here. And he was flying through the sky. Uprising coming in with that sound barrier, staying alive, clearing out Wisp, and taking map number 1. But Wisp were holding on for a long time. They look like zombies coming in waves.
Yeah, I mean, holy moly. I feel like the fact that Wisp is able to take that second round as well is just a huge testament to how much Wisp really want to be able to contend with the best. And so really exciting to be able to see them actually get a round win there, but Boston Uprising still coming out on top in this very first map. I mean, Vicky, what did you make of that? The Wrecking Ball choice, super, super cool there. I mean, Wisp just, they looked good.
It was great, but man, there is such a difference maker in the amount of elims that we were seeing coming out from Uprising. I think,
that's true.
From what we see from Decay alone, I think he like rounded around Rocket by double the amount of elims that he was able to get. Look at that turnaround. It was disgusting onto Chopper, trying to back away into the health pack. Nothing was going to save him there too. It was a nice look here from Twilight as well in that first round. We saw that snipe and this huge ante coming in from the back line.
Yeah, I mean, that was just, it looks like a Hail Mary, but it was so calculated to be able to allow Smurf to just get the clean up there with Decay as well. But then Lijiang just out of nowhere with the double boop. Vicky, there were so many incredible moments there. Lijiang still gets out scot-free, being able to go back to the rest of the team.
And he did it not once, but he did it twice, too. We saw him nail down a peak at one point.
Yeah.
It was nice to see here, too. Birdring coming in as well with the Deadeye, just trying to get into position thanks to Lijiang. And immediately, point blank, finds Jkaru. Uprising take that first map. It was 2-1. Nice look here from Wisp. They were trying to fight at their best, but unfortunately, their best was not enough. Let's see if map number 2 could be a little different for this team after this break. Welcome back, everyone. We just saw Uprising take it 2-0 in that round against WISP, and that was really nice to see WISP put up a pretty good fight, 2-1 rather. Really nice fight against WISP. WISP not going down, though, without that fight, Necro. I'm excited to see what we got in our hands for the second map.
I'm so excited as well, especially because we're getting a bit of a substitution coming in here from the Boston Uprising. It's going to be Izayaki subbing in there for Lijigon, and we saw this look from them earlier on today in their most recent match where Izayaki came in and we ended up seeing the Baptiste and the Kiriko out of the back line for both of these players. So, Vicky, knowing that our next map is going to be Kings Row, what do you make of both of these players coming into the roster?
We can expect the Zen to definitely come out because I do believe Uprising is starting off on the defense, so then he has a lot more room to work with, and we also have a tool to deal with Rocket. We're going to be able to make sure we can mark down Jikaru. Not that they had an issue with it in that last round, but we saw the stall coming in from WISP, and we also saw Jikaru make that swap over to the ball, so this is going to be interesting to see with this sub.
Yeah, especially because WISP are going to be the ones that chose this map of Kings Row. And so I wonder what they do have up their sleeve. We saw Reinhardt picked there really quickly there by Jikaru before we ended up actually seeing the Wrecking Ball come back out there on Control Center. So maybe there's a little bit of a Reinhardt angle that we could see WISP try to go for in this next map. But I feel like when it comes down to just Boston Uprising being able to play this defense, I would love to see that Zenyatta out of Izayaki. Izayaki ended up putting on such a phenomenal performance with that hero last season, and there's some great places for them to defend from, like you mentioned, Vicky.
I love how you bring up Izayaki's background. I mean, this man has 3 stage titles under his belt and a ring. Like, this is going to be fun to see. This is why when I look at Boston Uprising roster, I was in disbelief when I saw the announcement, and then I get to see them again, and it's like I got whiplash. It's like, wow, I'm having a fever dream. This is an insane all-star roster. We get to see it in full force. You know, we talk about Izayaki, you talk about his history with Lee Jae-gon, obviously, both of that back line coming in from the Shanghai Dragons, but coming in with Twilight for this round, sticking with Twilight and Twilight's Ana. Excited to see how this is going to go, and we talked about Izayaki's Zen. He's probably going to make this swap real quick to the Kiri this time around, though, so different look here, and we were expecting that, bro.
Yeah, I mean, I was kind of thinking anything support-wise that has a high mechanical skill. So you're looking at Kiriko, Baptiste, Zenyatta. Any 3 of those I feel like could be such a phenomenal pick there for Izayaki. And I think the Kiriko makes a lot of sense in this particular instance because Izayaki with those kunai are going to be hitting so hard, Vicky, especially if you're able to like land those in the dome of anybody that's on WISP. I feel like you're going to be able to delete people out of the server, and I feel like that's what Boston really want to do here with this composition is they want to win fast and hard, I guess.
Especially seeing how they were getting marked down by Rocket and Chopper in that last map. Seeing how they're going to play this positioning. The Braves trying to take a cheeky angle. They try to sandwich them over on the other side with Jikaru trying to jump into the high ground. Izayaki forced to reposition here. Gets right back in. I like this positioning that we're seeing. Jikaru getting hit with a huge anti while Birdring takes care of Chopper. You gotta look to your backs while you leave yourself vulnerable here. Wisp was trying to contest so hard for that high ground, but they left themselves vulnerable to both Birdring and Decay in the back.
I can't believe Smurf got away with that. Did you notice that Smurf was at like 20 HP and then left on a whim, was able to get healed back up? That did actually get a lot of charge over for Twilight to be able to work towards that nano boost quickly, but I mean, the way that Boston Uprising are controlling the space right now is just really fun to watch. Oh, poor Twilight's gonna have to get out of there though. Rocket just has his number permanently.
Oh, but Izayaki immediately getting right on top of Twilight. Decay cleaning up what was dropped from the high ground. He is clearing up everything while Wisp drop after trying to reposition from the amount of pressure that Uprising has put down. That was beautiful play right there from Decay.
Yeah, oh my gosh. I mean, we gotta watch this again because the replay here, we didn't get a chance to see everything that happened, but Decay just from the rafters shooting down as soon as Smurf has a Tesla cannon on them. That's a big target there for Decay to follow up. Already gonna have the pulse bomb online as Smurf's gonna hold down the front line here, waiting for Decay to find a mark.
Oh, wow. And he did it right there with the pulse bomb stuck onto Chopper. Then Birdring takes care of Jikaru. this is dominating here. WISP are trying to take this split approach to trying to find these backlines from Uprising, but then you have to worry about Decay, who's harassing your backline, who's doing a really good job at preventing your backline from even reaching you, and then Birdring finishes off the job with Smurf just getting the follow-up.
One of the things I really love about the Kiriko here from Izayaki is honestly the mobility that she provides to this team. Like, look at how many angles Izayaki is able to grab here. Twilight even getting in on the action as well, but there's also a great escape mechanism here for Izayaki on the Kiriko. So not only are you able to do damage, but if you really need to, you can also teleport away to the rest of your team.
And we've seen that already displayed from Izayaki, and look at the amount of ults they have online. They can match up with WISP, who's about to get Sound Barrier here too. Izayaki getting away, but gets chased down. Here comes a Nano Boost coming in. Izayaki has different plans. Here comes all the damage that you were talking about earlier before Necro. Birdring gets hit with a huge anti-Jikaru coming in with the Primal. Means loads of a difference because Grapes used a Sound Barrier, so he helped him get into position. But the answer back immediately from Izayaki, because he was able to stay alive, was able to clear up their backline. So we basically flipped the script right here for Uprising, where, yeah, you managed to get 2 picks, Jikaru, but Smurf is able to get 2, and so does Izayaki.
I mean, the fact that Izayaki and Smurf just never went down there, they were able to help each other out. Not only did Izayaki keep Smurf alive, to be able to go in with the Primal, be able to get a lot of those jump pack kills. Now you get a chance to see the rest of the team come back, and despite the fact that the Dragon Strike is going to go through and get Twilight, Izayaki is still up. How much healing can he pump into the team?
A cheeky angle there from Chopper, and that Dragon Strike getting 2 is big there because that would have been 2 impactful ults, especially with the way that Decay was trying to press onto those backlines. He was trying to reposition there. Chopper gets another one onto Izayaki, who's absolutely popping off, and now's the opportunity with less than 10 seconds for WISP to get that payload moving.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like the payload is going to get unlocked here, but Smurf might be looking for an angle to come back in. Look at that. A little bit of a jump there from Decay. It's going to activate the overtime.
No way. Coming in from the heavens, and another stick there too, coming in too. Birdring, Smurf, Decay gets taken down. Overtime taking away. That was a nice entrance from Decay, but Uprising are now falling while Rocket is trying to clean up what is left of Izayaki.
That looks so risky. Vicky, it almost paid off. You could see Decay try to go in, be able to stall a little bit for Smurf to get the jumps online to be able to make it back to the point as well, but it just wasn't quite executed the way that Boston Uprising would have liked it to be. Birdring got stuck there, and so ultimately you weren't able to use the Deadeye and the shields in the way there by Jikaru. What a well-timed bubble and great placement of that shield in order to make sure that Whisper able to stay alive to get this payload unlocked. And look how much ultimate charge they walked away with there too, Vicky. I mean, you're going to have the Primal Rage, the Nano, the Sound Barrier. Wisp have so many tools at their disposal now from all the ult charge they grabbed.
I love how you pointed that out here too. You see the Nano Boost now being used up onto Jikaru. He's going to back away in time, but it's clearing out this corner that is their priority here. It's an easy corner to get stuck in, and Smurf, same thing now. Here's a Nano Boost. He's going to be able to hold forward. He's got that Primal in case he needs to go for the reset at the end of that Nano Boost. He's going to have to be forced to pop it here. Good positioning to do that too, because the payload is still moving around, by the way, while they're fixated on what's happening in the front lines here, while Smurf is able to get away. But Decay now managing to find Jikaru in the process to get that follow-up.
Yeah, and it's just going to be a standstill at this point, especially when it's going to be a few of the squishier heroes here trying to duke it out on the cart. But ultimately, this is where the payload is going to stop for now, as the rest of the members of WISP try to make their way back. And unfortunately, you know, they did have to use the Primal as well as the Nano there. But now they have 3 more ultimates to rotate through, especially if Chopper's able to get this Deadeye online.
Decay almost got that cheeky pulse bomb stick onto the backline. Grapes also has that Sound Barrier that he's able to activate. Meanwhile, Smurf gets hit with the anti, gets deleted from Chopper. Rocket is going crazy at the second checkpoint. Love what we're seeing between him and a peak, and Grace putting him to position while they clean up the rest of Uprising. You can see the confidence beaming right through Rocket.
Absolutely. I mean, Rocket's been absolutely killing it today. Absolutely crushing it. And to be able to see Rocket in peak form right now, not only have these pulse bombs been able to convert over, but they've been able to get some really big picks. Boston Uprising, though, Vicky, they're back. They want to contest this.
Here comes a big ante coming in from Twilight onto Jikaru and Graves, and it allows Birdring to get that Elim onto Graves. Now here comes a leap in from Smurf. He gets hit with the ante, but Jikaru falls incredibly low. Be trying to get away in time while Birdring cleans up what is left of Jikaru. Nobody now left here while they need to clean up Rocket, who's been a menace to Uprising, but the rest of WISP have nothing to do with Birdring. The Deadeye to clear the entire alleyway. They do get stopped right there next to that second checkpoint, though, Never.
Yeah, Boston Uprising have done a great job in this series of being able to try to come back in at the very last second to contest. It didn't quite work out for them on that very first checkpoint, but for the second one, it definitely worked out for them to be able to stop that payload from activating the third piece of this map. But now that we're switching sides here, I mean, Boston, they played such an aggressive defensive game. They were really trying to be proactive there, moving in first to try to beat WISP to the punch when they were coming back in. And so I love to see that. Maybe they're going to try to play an aggressive game on the attack as well.
I like how you bring that up too, with the way that Izayaki was playing, especially before WISP was able to get that first point. He was going crazy. I think he had more elims than both Decay and Birdring at one point at the very beginning. Gets that snipe onto Graves. Jikaru was doing a really good job with this Primal to clear the front lines, but then with Izayaki right behind Jikaru and then Smurf popping Primal right afterwards, this was a difference maker right here. They split up the rest of WISP. In the very end, they do manage to get that payload, but that was a really nice look for WISP to at least try to split up the Uprising, but Uprising answering back almost immediately afterwards.
Yeah, I feel like there's been such a nice call and response there. Uprising clearly have the veterancy behind them and all of their players, and so they know how to make these quick reactions to whatever type of scenario is in front of them. So maybe, yes, the reaction time was there to be able to try to come back and get that contest on the first point. But I mean, we're able to see some displays of that throughout all of the team fights that we've seen so far.
And looking on the other side of the coin, we gotta give our contenders team some loves out here. Rocket was doing a fantastic job at trying to take different off angles, was getting cleanups on these elims when he was trying to push forward beyond that second checkpoint. But Libby died 3 times on that attack and was trying to match that with Decay, who did die 4 times, but he was doing a really good job at trying to match with Jikaru. The follow-ups that we've seen from Rocket and Jikaru have been another level. But here we have Decay popping off on the higher ground, finishing off what he already pressed onto Graves, who tried to get away and couldn't successfully do so. But between Decay and the damage output that we saw, Twilight with a lot of these antes, Smurf popping the Primal, and Izayaki's damage output, Uprising looked incredibly difficult to break through that barrier to get that payload.
And I think that's honestly, though, why this has been so impressive to me, that WISP are putting up this much of a fight, right? Every single time that we've really seen Boston Uprising, even just in this most previous match, they've looked damn impressive. Let's just put it that way, right, Vicky? Boston Uprising look really, really good to kick off this season, but that is why I feel like WISP deserve a lot of credit here to actually make it to this point where they took a round off of Boston. They're giving them a run for their money here, being able to take these points, even if it is going to be in overtime here. And I think that says and speaks a lot to how long this particular roster for WISP has been together. They might have struggled a little bit in terms of being able to contend with some of the maybe top of the top teams in North American contenders, but they are still putting on a heck of a show, and I can't wait to see how they're going to approach this defense round.
Yeah, you talk about the history. Chopper has been part of that Rush 5 team way back when we used to cast contenders. I mean, you talk about the history that these players have, but against these insane Titans that are Uprising, Decay is the first one to go down by Chopper. We're just talking about it. We gave him some of that energy, but Chopper answers right back to Birdring right after Birdring was able to take care of Upkeek. They get that trade. Jikaru's taking a nap. WISP doing a good job at trying to displace Uprising, but the reset has already happened here for WISP while they try to focus down on that player on their back line.
Yeah, and I think what's really hard about this particular defense here is that everybody on WISP has just been split up, so a lot of 1v1s are happening across the board, and Boston Uprising, they have the mechanical skill in their favor right now. But as I say that, Decay actually being forced to recall here as the rest of WISP get ready to regroup.
Jakaro helping out Rocket after he gets antied, though. Get down, Mr. President. He helped him out once, and Jakaro can't say the same here as he gets burned down by Birdring, followed up by Smurf. Birdring doing such a good job in the back. Nobody can help out Rocket. He fell incredibly low. Fortunately, blinked right into that wall behind him. And Uprising are going to be able to get this payload with a good amount of time in their pocket.
Yeah, and especially when you look at the ultimates that they're starting to rack up in the bank. Decay has the pulse bomb ready to go, looking at trying to get down this Winston bubble and maybe sticking that pulse bomb onto a low health target. And then, I mean, it's basically going to be a full slate here, Vicky. Look at that. Nano, Kitsune Rush, you got the Primal, Birdring's gonna have the Dragons. Pick your poison here. What's going to be getting thrown out?
And they know it too. You see Wisp, they saw Decay trying to be cheeky, trying to find an opportunity with that pulse. Here comes that Nano. Mentioned now, coming in from a peak. But Jakaro sleeping while Smurf is popping the Primal, finding the backline of Wisp. Uprising are clearing what is left of Wisp on this choke point, and this looks difficult. Now you don't have that Nano. You're gonna have Sound Barrier. Yeah, you didn't pop Primal here after you lost out on your backline, but Uprising have so much to work with.
Yeah, Uprising have a lot of tools left in their kit here. Look at how Smurf was able to just absolutely handle this corner of the map, getting a huge juggle there onto Grapes. Abheek to follow it up, just absolutely dismantling the backline there of Wisp. But now this is their last chance, Vicky. Boston could shut it down here and take the series.
They are so far up here to make sure that they clear up this next point here too. Decay with that pulse bomb, still holding on to it while the rush was used up from Izayaki. Here comes Nano coming in too. Nice anti from Upheek, but Jakaro once again gets put to sleep. Upheek gets taken down while Decay is still hunting in this backline. Nowhere to run for Grapes. Upheek and Grapes have not been able to breathe once with Decay being around.
No, it's so tough to be able to do that too. I mean, Decay is an absolute menace in the back line. You can see how much cleanup has been coming through from this player, especially when Smurf is going to be able to kind of tickle everybody down to being able to finish up. And that's it. Vicky, Wisp can't touch.
I thought Chopper was going to be able to get at least close enough with Grapes right behind him with the speed boost, but nope. Not one toe on that point. Not going to contest there. And Boston Uprising looking at their peak form after today in a clean 2-0 versus the Gladiators are now taking that series versus Wisp.
Yeah, it's been a phenomenal day here for the Boston Uprising to just give us a little bit of a teaser of what's to come for the rest of the season. We're still going to get a chance to see a little bit more from both Wisp and Boston Uprising for the rest of the weekend, but I'm excited. I feel like when you take a look across the board at Boston Uprising, the players that they have accumulated, basically like the Avengers here of the Overwatch League. Like, I feel like it's really cool to see this roster come together, and we gotta give the play of the match here to Decay after all of those impressive Tracer plays.
But talking about him right before that match ended for a reason. He was a menace out here, putting in the pressure, making sure that Upheek and Grapes were not having a very fun time out here. And also, gotta talk about the communication that we definitely saw coming in between him and Twilight. I like the anti-follows that we saw with Smurf whenever he was down. You saw Decay cleaning up what was left or would jump in with Smurf. Very good follows that we saw here from Decay and different off-angle positioning. That was nice. Breaking necks out here, gets the recall, and then finishes off what was left of Grapes at the very end. Decay having a phenomenal game versus Wisp.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, even despite everything that you saw there from Decay, I feel like Wisp, Decay was giving them so much difficulty, but Wisp's all of their players still got a chance to have some really fun spotlight moments. But it's so tough to contend against a player that is as good, as deadly as Decay really has been. Didn't die very often, very self-sufficient, and also ended up being able to convert over to quite a few pulse bomb kills every single time that pulse bomb was up.
3 deaths? Are you kidding me? After a pretty close Legion game 2 where it was back and forth. I think he only died 3 times in that first map. Love this look that we're seeing from the Boston Uprising. We talk about Birdring a lot. We gotta give that love over to Decay because he had a fantastic showing in that last series. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in to that final series. We're gonna toss it over to the desk to get their thoughts on that final match.
Thank you guys so much. Always great to hear from the two of them, and always great to hear them calling the shots and all the action. We're back for the Watchpoint post show now. Zoe here, joined by Danny and Matt Morello. We've got jaw-dropping highlights. We've got scorching hot takes sometimes, and
always
the two gentlemen will break it all down for you. Oh, yeah, I don't know about that. Yeah, what I do know, though.
No.
And lots of
you never know.
You never know. Might hit you by surprise with that one. But yeah, we just wrapped the last match of the day. WISP took on the Boston Uprising. And I mean, honestly, though, Lijiang Tower was rather entertaining. I was entertained. WISP wasn't going down without a fight. I think they made some really smart compositional changes, switching in the ball there, and they almost managed to edge it out.
Lee Gon is just an absolute menace, though. I mean, he is going fast. He is going forward. You see here, nice boop off the side. At one point, he was doing a little like Warzone type move where he's sitting in a bush. Yeah, right here, he's sitting in a bush, coming out of the side. Just just really nice movement. This level of aggression though is not normal for Lucio. It's like he's right here. I mean, it's like he was like a car on Oasis Highway, just to flatline that guy. So I mean. Can you continue this level of aggression and not be punished? I actually thought WISP hung in there pretty well throughout this series. I actually thought they put up a really good fight. Just here on Lijiang Tower, I mean, Gon was unreal.
Yeah, I mean, this kind of aggression, I sincerely doubt we would see that against a lot of other teams in OWL at least. So it does look like Boston Uprising was trying to have a little bit more fun with it. Gon Tower was actually also known as Gon Tower for quite some time. So rightfully so. Yeah, gotta pay up.
That sound barrier into the kill.
The punch.
He is going real fast.
He was zooming. He was zooming around.
Yep.
So,
sorry, what did you write on your Twitter? What was it? It was so funny. I read it.
Check out my Twitter. It's a banger. That tweet, didn't get as much traction as it should have.
The last day Zoe's verified, so go check it out.
Yeah, before I have to pay for it, which I want, but we're living for now. Anyway, we do have an interview ready for all of you. Unfortunately, it won't be Birdring though, which is a little bit disappointing.
Oh.
Let's maybe interview you first here. Why did you want to talk to Birdring again?
Who is you? Is that me or is that Danny?
No, it's me. Of course, it's me. When Zoe says you, then it's me.
What's your thought process of choosing your interview partners?
It's I think we've heard enough about from Birdring. I think 2 interviews in a day was enough, and it started to, after the second interview, it started to feel like it was just all one whole interview. Felt very
I hear what you're saying, but I think Matt officially dubbed today the official day of Birdring, so it's actually a national holiday now. Yeah, it's a bank holiday.
It's Bird Day.
Bird Day? Today's birthday, but hey, I think 2's enough. And because Boston Uprising, they have so many great players. I think it's good to talk to someone else. But at the same time, honestly, I feel like they're gonna get way more wins. So even if we did Birding for the third time,
I'm sure we get an opportunity to talk to all of them many a times, and that is a big joy of that. I always love picking their brains. It's also been really, really great for us generally in the Pro-Am. I don't know if you heard, Matt, but we got a lot of insight from a lot of the coaches as well. So I hope to hear more of that, since we do have still quite some game days coming your way here in the Pro-Am tournament. But for now, we are ready to head into our winners interview. And this one, it's not going to be Birdring, but another legend in his own right. It's Decay.
Thank you so much, Zoe. Decay, hello, can you hear me? Decay 선수 들리시나요? 손 한번 들어주세요. 안녕하세요.
안녕하세요.
I asked Decay to wave us at, he did. Thank you so much for that cute wave, Decay. All right, I'm just going to jump right into the question. So, I mean, you guys looked dominant again against WISP. This was your second match, but you guys did drop a round on Lijiang. So I want to ask you about that. What happened? What sort of problems were you guys facing in round 2? I think it was Gardens. 자, 첫 번째 질문은 오늘도 지금 두 번째 경기도 굉장히 좋은 모습으로 승리를 거두셨는데요. 그래도 첫 번째 맵이었던 리장에서 특히나 그 정원이었죠. 그래서 아쉽게 그 라운드를 패배를 하셨는데 정원에서 좀 어떤 문제점이 있었고 또 이 문제점을 좀 어떻게 고쳐 나가셨나요?
일단 상대 팀이 생각보다 좀 공격적으로 계속 플레이를 하더라고요. 먼저 무언가를 하려고 하고 그래가지고 좀 정원 때는 그게 대처가 잘 안 됐는데 이제 좀 정원 끝나고 뭐 이제 어차피 정원은 이제 끝났고 이제 뭐 메이를 하다 보니까 또 그 조합에서는 저희가 좀 그래도 잘한다 생각하기 때문에 그냥 하던 대로 했습니다.
하던 대로. 알겠습니다. I think the biggest problem that we were facing was that we were just caught off guard. We didn't know that while we were playing against WISP in Gardens that they were going to be that aggressive, and that was sort of a surprise for us. But after losing that round, you know, we just said, hey, it's just a round, it's already done, let's forget about it. We just had to brush it off, start fresh, and then I think we just carried on that way and we got the win. And of course, I mean, you guys are already, this was your first time showing and you guys already won 2 matches. Decay, I just want to hear your opinion. Is there like a team in the Pro-Am that you really want to beat? 자, 오늘 첫 경기뿐만 아니라 두 번째 경기까지 해서 벌써 이번 그룹 스테이지에서 반 이상의 경기를 딱 반이구나. 반 경기를 끝내셨는데 DK 선수가 보시기에 지금 프로-엠 토너먼트에서 개인적으로 이 팀만은 우리 보스턴 팀이 꼭 이겨야겠다. 이기고 싶다 하는 팀이 좀 있을까요?
저는 일단 애틀란타는 좀 개인적으로 이기고 싶은 마음이 있습니다. 이게 왜냐면 이제 뭐 전 팀원이었던 비질란테 선수도 있고 거의 이번에 또 새로 이제 립 선수나 스토커 선수도 또 잘하는 선수라고 알고 있기 때문에 그 선수들이랑 해서 이기면 또 저희 팀이 더 좋은 모습이 되지 않을까 싶어서 그렇게 생각합니다.
Okay. I do have to go with the Atlanta Reign just because, you know, my former teammate, Vigilante, is there. Not only that, they got great players like Lip and Stalker. I know how great they are. Just Atlanta Reign is also a very stacked roster, so beating them would make us look better and would put us on top of them. So that's why I want to play against Atlanta Reign. All right, that is it for the interview, Decay. Thank you so much for your time. And again, big congratulations on winning both of your matches. 자, 오늘 두 승리 너무나도 축하드리면서 인터뷰 마치도록 하겠습니다. DK 선수 감사합니다.
네, 감사합니다.
Bye, Decay. Thank you so much, Danny. Fantastic interview as always, and it's great to hear from the man himself. An absolute menace on the Tracer amongst other heroes. So I am excited to see more of him and the team moving forward in the Pro-Am. For now, let's take a look at today's results to see where we landed after 3 matches. Again, we had to make some schedule changes as one of the teams unfortunately could not join us, but the makeup matches will be played very soon. These are the scores. I don't think there were any hot surprises here. This is pretty much all going according to the plan.
Yeah, I don't think today with the matches that we had there was anything surprising at all. That top of Group C is going to be pretty tightly contested. Although that match that ended up happening right between Glads and Uprising, I'm sure it's going to be huge for tiebreak scenarios. And then in the other group, didn't really get to see anything move today. It'll be exciting to see Defiant go back at it again, hopefully tomorrow.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Which brings us, of course, to our next very big segment, which I personally, it's a favorite of mine. What can I say? It's the big takeaways, the learnings, the headlines. I want to know what really tickled you today? Like, what is the word on the street, Danny, for you?
For me, the word on the street is that Dante is a great tank for the Los Angeles Gladiators. Wow. I mean, you know, like he said in his interview yesterday, he said he was a bit stressed because he had to pick up a lot of different heroes because he is the sole tank. And that has been a big question mark going into yesterday, even today too. Can Dante, as the sole tank for the Los Angeles Gladiators, is that enough? And honestly, for the matches that we've seen today, I think he was doing a fantastic job. I love his switch onto the Zarya as well to counter Kalios' D.Va in today's match against Boston. Sure, they lost this match, but Dante has been doing a fantastic job, filling that tank role for the Gladiators.
I thought he was fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we're all in agreement then. Matt, what was your big learning from this day?
Well, Boston Uprising 2-0. Birdring looked good. He looked back, kind of like in form, like he never left. And I think that's awesome to see. You see Dora, I know he was on the cast last weekend, so he's great at Birdring for Team WISP. But I thought they played really strong, Boston. It was a roster that when everybody saw it got announced was like, oh, that's a really good roster. And then I feel like people have maybe gotten a little bit like less kind of gung-ho and hot on the roster, but they came out today and they looked really strong. I think seeing this type of performance from Birdring early on, really important, right? I know a lot of the players he was playing with and against aren't even in the league anymore. So to see him kind of come in, put up a great performance on different heroes, it was really great to see. I think for Boston, can you kind of like work out, know how this support line works, with subs with like Izayagi coming in at times, Lee Gun going out, maybe you keep Twilight in, and then also just make sure you kind of keep these players engaged, right? Like they're going to need to kind of like have that extra fuel and fire to get through the whole season, and like where do you find that?
So what I'm really hearing is you're worried that Decay is not going to make it all season long.
I mean, they got I think Striker too, right? So why not?
Yeah.
True. And if you want to hear one of those voices of the naysayers, all you have to do is rewind this show, listen to the pre-show, because Matt was not high on the Boston Uprising. I'm glad that their performance today changed his mind at least a little bit. Yeah, they proved him wrong. That's right. Matt is wrong. It does happen every once in a while. But these are our big takeaways from today, and I'm sure there is much more to learn tomorrow. So now let's have a look at what's coming up. We've got some great matches, a glorious 6 matches, in fact, as we make up the ones that we could not play today, or at least some of them. So I want to know which ones of these are making you burst with excitement.
All right, I'm gonna go with both. I'm actually really excited to see WISP versus Team Peps. I think it's gonna be an interesting clash of styles. We know that Peps loves to play the Rhyme Brawl, and WISP, like we saw, likes to go Winston. I think it's going to be an interesting matchup, interesting contender team versus contender team.
I'm excited to see Boston against Washington.
Let's go.
I think, a little bit of a Decay revenge game there, playing against the Justice. We've, I think some also kind of like staff and coaches and whatnot moving from Justice to Uprising. Also, Lee J God and FD God. They are just going to be very fast and aggressive.
They're going to be zooming.
The map. No healing done whatsoever. Just send it.
Well, if both just send it, then I guess it's even Steven.
Just gonna run it down mid.
Exactly. They're both gonna run it down mid. I do love that though, that a lot of the top teams right now, or the teams that we consider some of the top teams with those really, really strong backlines, they're all strong backlines because they're insanely aggressive and so fast paced. So I'm very, very excited to see more of that. But that's it for today. We will be back tomorrow at 12:40 p.m. Pacific to preview all the action for all of you watching. So for now, we're going to say good night, stay hydrated, and stay safe, everyone. Thank you for joining.
Bye-bye.